Good morning, welcome to Something Saturday. So today I wanted to show you what I created for my swap for my Backstage. It was a fancy fold swap. Unfortunately, I gave away the card that I had because my roomie liked it and I really liked her, so I gave her it. And then somewhere in my craft room, I have a mock-up which has completely disappeared. So I can't even show you that, but I can sort of show you. So that is, let's just grab these down. What I used, so on the outside of it, I made it really plain, and I actually used Layers of Beauty, which I think is a beautiful stamp, and I've just shoved the happy anniversary on there. Really plain, really simple, just because the inside of it really isn't. Then I've used the dies from the Charming Day set. So this set has actually gone onto the retiring list, which is really sad because it's so beautiful and I think it goes really nicely with these. But if you do want it, you need to snag it as soon as possible because they are both reduced. So the stamp set is reduced and the dies are reduced, and it's probably cheaper to buy them that way than it would be to buy them as a bundle. Just a little heads up there. Okay, so hopefully they haven't already gone by the time this video has gone live. So inside the card, I've then created, this is a real mock-up again at the moment, a piece that looks like this, which then we're going to have flowers on to make it look like it's a bouquet of flowers coming out of the card. So that's the idea. I'm going to show you how to create this piece now. So what you will need for it is a piece of white thick cardstock. Doesn't really work with a thin cardstock. It doesn't have enough durability to it. So yes, you want that. You want it to be 19 centimeters long and 10 centimeters high, and then you fold it in the middle at 9.5 centimeters. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use our stamping trimmer. That I believe is the right word for it. And you see how it's got these lines here? These are really handy for doing this. So you want to start off with, now did I do it that way? I have a feeling actually that I may have used the lines going in this direction when I did it originally. This feels more familiar. Okay. So it actually doesn't matter which way you do your lines, I have discovered, because the last one that I did, I actually did the lines going, this is probably not going to make any sense to you at all. I have made sure that that and that are actually in proportion and just gone up and down that line there, but I'm going to do it the other way as well, just to see which way I did it originally, because I honestly can't remember now. That's really helpful, isn't it? So what I'm meaning by this is you line up your point at this end and your point at this end, the fold is here, with the 1/4 inch mark first of all. Okay, so you're going to use your scorer, not your cutter. So make sure your cutter stays well and truly out the way. All right. So I'm going over it a few times because I want it to really well score so that it actually has scored on the back and the front. Okay, so that's the first one that I'm going to do. Then I want to move it down by 1 inch. So because I started at 1/4 inch, I'm now going to move it down to 1¼ inches. 1¼ 1¼ and the cool, as I say, I think these lines are so fantastic because it makes it so much easier to actually measure everything up. So you've got your 1¼ inches there now, and we're going to move that down. So that was, now you should have 1 inch gap there. Just prove it. Yep, 1 inch. Lovely. All right, so then you want to move it down by 1/2 inch. So because these lines are 1/4 inch per doodah line, doodah. Let's go the doodah day. Gotta love me. So we're then going to go with a 1/2 inch there and a 1/2 inch again there, and I believe that should be it. Okay. So you should now have lines going on either side, so it should look like a V shape. what happens now is the first line gets poked outwards. I'm sure there's a like valley or hill. I think it's a valley fold, isn't it, when it's like that? All right, let's just move our cutter, scorer, trimmer, Heather, get the right word for it, out the way. There we go. And you do need your bone scorer for this because you want to be able to score these lines down really well. So the first one goes that way, then the second one goes in the opposite direction. And in fact, maybe it would be better to go over with the thing at the end, because apparently I've managed to sort of score part of my lines away. Learn from my mistakes. So then the next one goes in that direction and the last one goes in that direction. So pretty much you're kind of concertinaing it. So that it looks like that by the time you're finished. So let me just do that. There we go. And yeah, apparently that was not a good idea to do that. I'm just going to manage to add a bit of an extra line on it there, just with my bone scorer. I obviously shouldn't have quite done it the way I did, but there we go. So that is going to be the inside of your card. Now, if you want the inside of this decorated up before you put it into your card, do so before you've even started these score lines. So the last time I did it, I had actually run it through the swirly embossing folder before I put these score lines into it. But I figured if I did that, you probably wouldn't see the score lines quite so easily. So I've kept it fairly plain this time. But you know what I'm going to do is add a bit of colour to it, because it is going to look a bit boring otherwise. So excuse the fact that this is looking a little dirty already. We will use the side that's not looking quite so dirty. And let's just add, I don't know, a bit of pink to it. Why not? I mean, obviously it's flowers, so it's going to go to a girl. Maybe a bit of peach as well. Peach is nice too. So there we go. And the cool thing with it is that when you do this, the score lines always look darker than everything else does, which I always kind of like that look when the score lines deepen up. All right, so that is what we are sitting at now. So then we bring in our base card, which nice and simple. You've just got your A5 piece of cardstock, scored in half at 10.5, folded in half. And this now is going to then sit inside here. How are we going to do that? Well, I am so glad you asked. We're going to use some glue. As if you didn't know. So adding a bit of glue onto that, and then, oops, let's just tuck that in, tuck that in. So what you then want to do is you lay this side down and make sure that it's going to look straight. And hopefully that's going to fold down. Yes, it's going to go well. All right, so hold that down for a moment. Just make sure the glue does glue in place, and then do the other side. So just do one side at a time, because otherwise you will get in a world of gluey mess. Don't ask how I know this. And then pop that side down too. So there you have it. That is the inside. Oh, and I've just realised what else I put on the inside of my card. So when I did my original one, oh, bless me that I forgot about this. I actually also stamped some extra flowers in the background of it. And I wonder whether I can fit some in somehow. can sort of get away with. Maybe I can, you never know. Let's give it a whirl. Hang on. So what colour do I want to stamp them with? Oh, I think I chose to do it with the same colour as I'd used on the background there, which is, I believe I may have used that one, or crumb cake. Looks more like crumb cake. We will assume it was crumb cake. Wow, I'm doing well today, aren't I? All right. And that is not actually going to work. I may just have to stick this onto my fingers temporarily. Let's just see whether we can persuade that into place. Ah, that's not too bad. Excellent. What else have I got here? That one's quite nice. Let's do the same with that. Let's pop that one across the background there. And we might just add another one of those. And tuck that into there. There we go. Well, that was an interesting way of doing it, but it's kind of worked. So there you go. The advantages of the fact that they are sticky backed. You can stick them to your fingers and use your fingers as stamping blocks. Wow. Okay, so now we have a few flowers in the background too. Excellent. And then these are the ones that I have cut out. So I've actually already coloured these ones in, but I thought I would leave this one to show you exactly how I have coloured it in. So I've used these 3 colours, and I figure we will stick to the same 3 colours because they kind of looked nice on the card. So we also need a bit of this sort of thing, just so that it's not going to colour everything in sight, because when we do the green, we kind of want it to just be green on the green bit. And I am going to grab a little bit out of there and tuck that onto there as well. So that's got that bit of greenery. Oops. And next one's quite unfair. Well, that means that it was a circular ridge. Hello. Oh, so apparently. Come on. I missed that piece there. So, as you can see, I actually added the peach pie and the melon mambo to it until I was happy with the vibrancy of colour. I always really like my colours to be quite vibrant, but not everyone does. I know that. So, yeah, if you're making this and you don't want such vibrant colours, then literally just don't add so much to it. So what I have also done is I've taken this one and halved it just at a convenient point that it's not going to be obvious that I've halved it at, so that I can then add those pieces in behind one like this. And then the other things that I have done. So now, how did I do this? It's kind of like this. Ooh, how did I do this? I can't remember. So I know that I had it so it was almost inside. So the idea now is that you just arrange these onto here so that they end up looking like they are in a oh, come on, Heather. It would be so much easier if I actually had my original. Okay, so I know that it did stick out a little bit, so that looks like is where I had it. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue just onto the outside of this. And again, with these, you really want to have done them using the thick cardstock. Oh. Okay, you were supposed to stay on there, not fall off at the moment's notice. Oh. That looks more like it. And I don't think I actually put anything underneath there, so I'm just going to add a tad of glue onto there, just so that that will also stick down. Really does look pretty when it's done. So there you go, that's your first part, and you just have to make sure that it's going to close every time. Then we needed a piece over here, so then we go with just like that. So we'll just add, whoops, move it out of the way so you can actually see what I'm doing here. And that's not going to work. Okay, that was why, because I added the glue to this bit, not onto the back of the flower, and that's why it worked last time. Things come back to me gradually. So let's just add that onto there, and then a little bit of glue onto the back of the flower again. That's right. So this one I cut right down because the little piece in the middle here is the one that I kind of hid it behind, and that's going to be way too much glue on there. Let's get rid of that. Yep, we are looking good. And I actually can't remember where I put this piece now. I know I had a reason for it, so perhaps it was just that it stood out on the other side of this one. Could well have been. But equally, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. I will find my photo of the original one that I made and put it on. That's really annoying. I'll put it onto my blog post. Okay, come on, Heather. Get your finger in there. Yep. Oh, now I have that little extra one. Maybe I could put a leaf on there or something. That would be kind of cool. Let's just add one going down there. And the thing is that you don't want to make exactly the same card all the time, do you? So it's kind of nice when you make something that's looks a little different to how it originally was. I also have this feeling that I may have just added a little wee bit of colour to these roses as well in the background here when I did it originally. Yes, that's looking awfully familiar now. Well, talk about doing things the wrong way round, but there you go. What more could you wish for in life? Let's see whether we can just do that. Lift that one up, give it a bit of green. There we go. So that is in essence what I made up for my Backstage swap, which I did design myself, and it is very random, but I wanted to do something completely different that I knew no one else was going to do, and I think I achieved it. So that is it. Hop along to my blog. I will put up the measurements there, and yeah, if you were interested in that stamp set and die set, then check it out and see whether it's still available. I know things do go quite fast when they're on the clearance rack. Thank you so much for joining me today, and come and join me next week. Thanks. Bye.